welcome to the Week 13 A.E.F.L weekly summary, guys, and this is the last episode of the regular season as next week we jump into the playoffs. Now, looking at the scores, I had an Inglorious Bastards as I get the W there, 115-88. The Formal Child Stars takes down Jacks On, Jacks Off in a very close game by 5 points, 97-92. And then Bradshaw Shank Redemptions picks up the win over Team Minivan, 121-92. Then Old Smuggler, Cocktoberfest, each with 130 points. That makes the third tie of the year in our league, and the second for Freimeyer. And the crazy thing here is we actually had 3 teams score 130 points, the other being the Raging Boners. But either way, those 2 teams tie. And then we go to Grand Slam Breakfast Squad taking down Liquor in the Front, Poker in the Back, 122-87. And then the Raging Boners picking up the big win over BFE Baltimore, 130-94. Going into my game real quick, I just had big points from everyone. I still got to get a few things figured out with my running backs and whatnot. And then Ben McFadden picks you up 0 as he doesn't really end up playing best, only picks up 1. That's the first time in a while he hasn't been very consistent. And then when the Bears only get -1 point against the Seahawks, it's not going to be a very good week for you. But what can you do? Moving on, though. Bar, you pick up the close win by 5 points. Thank God Drew Brees didn't fully throw you under the bus with those 5 interceptions and 0 touchdowns. And then you throw in the fact Jordy Nelson gets hurt. And then your wide receivers just in general not picking up very many points. And then Yates, same thing with you, man. I think if you could get some wide receivers that are more consistent, you have a deadly team with Adrian Peterson. Maybe even start Reese in the flex spot instead of a wide receiver at this point. I mean, he's been pretty consistent. It just all depends when Darren McFadden comes back. Will gets the big win over Team Minivan as the running backs pick up big points in, I believe, was it Turner and Bradshaw you had, and then your tight end Myers, big points for Oakland. I think it was like 30-some. And then even your bench, everyone on your bench but one player had over 10 points. It was remarkable. I mean, your bench scored a total of 91, and Edwards' whole team only scored 92. Edwards, I mean, you had consistent points all through the top half of your lineup, but when you got down to your tight end, your flex position, your defense, and your kicker, just not enough points to even break 100 there, as Will goes on to win, like I said, 121-92. And then, God damn it, Trevor, how many times are you going to escape a loss? Second time this year, you're lucky enough to pick up a bye. I believe you need to take the time to write Pierre Garçon for his 29 points there for Monday night against the Giants. I mean, there's no other way you should have won this game other than Pierre Garçon going off like he had. Tanner had more consistent scoring throughout his whole roster, while you just had like a few guys score big points and made up for the guys who didn't put up, the 15 to 17 like they should. So you got lucky. You just had a few players score some big points. But Tanner, recently, man, your team's been fucking pretty damn consistent with putting up the 15 to 20 points each. So, I mean, definitely rolling into the playoffs there. Dustin, you pick up the win to end the season. A little too late. I mean, you definitely should have the better record than Fichter, who's 6-7, while you're 4-8-1. You had a hell of a strong second half. Fichter continues to score under 100 points. If there's more of a deserving playoff spot, Dustin, you should be well ahead of Fichter. But, what can you do? It's all about matchups. Boner, you pick up the win, as I said all year. As long as the Redskins and Dallas does good, you do good. Griffin scores big points. Des Bryant, Jason Wynn, all of them scores big. And then finally, DeMarco Murray's healthy. That should definitely help you. And then Brandon, same probably have it all year, man. Your QB and running backs just not putting up big enough points. But now that we got all that gone over and everything, let's get to this week's Justin Yates Hard Hit of the Week.
Oh, you express cool. Get it! Oh, that's not happening anytime soon. Give more. Get it. Get it.
Alright, guys, and this week's Justin Yates Hard Hit of the Week goes to the 4 teams who didn't make the playoffs. I mean, is there anything worse in fantasy football than not making the playoffs? So this week's Justin Yates Hard Hit of the Week goes to Will Wetzel, the Bradshaw Shank Redemption, Ben Parker, the Inglorious Bastards, Brandon Optimus, BFE Baltimore, and Dustin East, Grand Slam Breakfast Squad. Now, if there's anyone that stole the playoff spot this year, it goes to Jared Fichter. If you guys want to bitch and complain, we can blame it all on Fichter because he definitely without a doubt stole a spot. But enough of the complaining about him still in the spot. You guys earned this week's Justin Yates Hard Hit of the Week. Now let's just get to the A.E.F.L's Close Call of the Week.
Yeah, the best way to yeah, it was the fastest. I got a concussion, guys.
And without a doubt, this week's A.E.F.L's Close Call of the Week has to go to the two teams that tied. I mean, not only did they tie, they also tied for the most points in the league this week with 130. And said it once, I'm going to say it again. Trevor, you're the luckier than shit when it comes to avoiding losses. Unlike Victor, who's luckier than shit to pick up the wins, you're luckier than shit to avoid losses. It's getting ridiculous at this point. But nonetheless, you and Tanner earned this week's A.E.F.L's Close Call of the Week. Now, let's get to the point that everyone's been waiting for, the playoff matchups. Game 1 is me and Boner. I get the 4th seed, Boner gets the 5th seed. Then Team Minivan, team number 8, taking on the number 1 seed, former Child Stars. The number 6 seed, Jacks On, Jacks Off, takes on the number 3 seed, Old Smuggler. And then the number 7 seed, Liquor in the Front, Poker in the Back, takes on the number 2 seed, Cocktoberfest. And then in the consolation bracket, we have the 9 seed, Inglorious Bastards, taking on the 10 seed, Bradshaw Shank Redemption. And then the 11 seed, Grand Slam Breakfast Squad, taking on the 12 seed, the worst seed out of all, BFE Baltimus. And just going into, though, real quick, going to the playoffs a little bit more, the winner of my game between Boner and I will play the winner of former Child Stars and Team Minivan. The winner of Jacks On, Jacks Off, and Old Smuggler will then play the winner of Poker in the Back, Liquor in the Front, and Cocktoberfest. By far, without a doubt, even with the number 2 seed, Trevor has the easiest route in the playoffs, beginning just with the fact of facing Victor in the first round. Just for that reason, you automatically earn the easiest road to the championship. I mean, I don't think there's an easier first game than that. But nonetheless, I mean, Victor's pulled off crazier things. I mean, it's like the battle of who can be the luckiest team in that game, you know? But nonetheless, it'll be an interesting week as it's the first week of the playoffs. It's everything we've been waiting for, all the smack talk, everything we've debated throughout the year all comes down to these next 3 weeks. But until then, gentlemen, I will talk to you later. And as always, fuck you.